Hello guys and welcome to the first video for Game Week 3. As per usual, we will be starting with my favorite series into my content creation, and that's the best team. I'm going to present for me the best team for Game Week 3 that you can opt for. Yeah, I'm recording that a little bit early. I haven't seen every game from Game Week 2, but still I want to prepare a team because I want to be an early bird and showcase to you what I feel like it's going to be the teams to target into that week and where to invest your money. After that, I'll be showcasing to you a differential team where you're going to see what type of players you can go for to go in ranks. I believe that this team is going to be not the best team to go for the differential, but you can get some players, and if they're appearing here and there as well, for me they're going to be the best options. We're starting in goal as per usual. First of all, Flecken, a very solid goalkeeper at Southampton at home. I feel like Southampton has a high potential to score, but still I need to target those newly promoted sides. Ipswich, Southampton and Leicester are going to be the targets for a very long time, as we don't know the rest of the teams how are going to prepare. Yeah, I have not targeted anyone that is facing Everton, because even though they have some injuries in defense, they are still a very solid defensive side and they can keep a clean sheet against anyone. But we're going to discuss who you may go for if you want to decide to target Everton as well. Let's return back to the goalkeepers. Bentley is just a backup option and I don't feel anything in particular to go for, but Flecken is for sure my number one choice. Home to a newly promoted sides, it cannot get any better. In defense, I'm going with a solid defense. Gvardiol, Saliba, Robinson, Pau Torres and Van der Beek. Yeah, I am not caring about the bench too much, but I have money as I'm not going for Salah and the budget is free, so I will be able to pick solid bench options. Yeah, you can avoid them, but I'm just showcasing a good bench options that you can go for. We don't know how we are going to perform against the weaker sides, but still Pau Torres is a solid option. Van der Beek is a little bit of a cheat code because he is currently listed as a Liverpool player at the time of recording, but he will be transferred soon to Brentford and he will be an amazing option. Gvardiol against West Ham, I think that West Ham are a team to target at the start, especially if you're Manchester City, so it's a no-brainer to go for the best defender from Manchester City side. Saliba, the most nailed and the best defender in the league most probably. That combined thing, maybe Van Dijk is the only one that can challenge him for newness and quality altogether. Brighton at home, I know Brighton have been scoring goals, but still Arsenal are a different breed and I believe that they can keep a clean sheet. And the final guy is Robinson, who has been very attacking and he is going to do some serious damage to Ipswich. Going into midfield, I've targeted 5 different teams. Let's discard the bench option quickly. It's a midfielder from Nottingham Forest, Sangare. He will be playing, but he's not making the starting 11. Saka, Mbumo, Smith Rowe and Bailey. Saka against Brighton, he is a very solid player and in my opinion he can do some serious damage. And Boom against Southampton, if Tony hasn't returned yet, he is going to be a solid guy and a solid option that is going to take penalties. And at home against the newly promoted side, he can cause some serious damage. Smith Rowe against Ipswich, yeah, a newly promoted side away from home, but Smith Rowe is one of the hottest transfers of the summer and I believe that he can do well. And Bailey, I wanted to fill in the budget, but you can safely go for Rodgers here and just forget about him. Finalizing the squad is going to be the forward line. Even though Watkins is not in the best shape since returning from the Euros, he is making the lineup. I believe that he can be considered one of the best players to go for in Game Week 3. Havertz remains here. Arsenal striker. Brighton at home. I know Brighton have been scoring some goals as mentioned before, but still Havertz for me is a player that you may go for and may keep. And the last guy here is Haaland against West Ham away. West Ham are one of his favorite sides to face, so I see no reason to not go for him. Everton, as promised, they face Bournemouth, so maybe Semenyo, maybe the new Evanilson, but they are a team that I need to monitor more. So for now, I'm not going to opt for any players from Bournemouth. Now, moving swiftly into differentials, here is the whole lineup that I'm going for. Sales remains in goal as Flecken is way highly owned, so Sales is the second best option at Wolves at home. Robinson, Akanji, Pau, Torres, Van der Beek and Collins make the lineup, so that's Van der Beek, Collins, Pau and Robinson. No, Van der Beek, Pau and Robinson. being the same defenders, Guardiola and Saliba are too highly owned, but Akanji and Collins are low owned, so you can opt for those players. In midfield, Mbumo keeps his place, Bailey as well. I have mentioned Rodgers, so if you go for Rodgers and Bailey, you can expect, if they return, a pretty solid return, so you'll be having some great points and at the differential price. As you can see, they are 8.7 at time of recording and Bailey 3.4 on, so that's under 10% and that looks good. Sales is 1.2, Robinson is 9.8 at time of recording, that's still under 10%. Akanji 5.4 and Pau Torres 1.4, so yeah, Van der Beek is 0.4 and Collins is 0.5. In my opinion, those defenders can skyrocket your rank, especially Collins, who might be seeming to start every game now for Brentford, so he has some attacking potential. He has been seen in the box, so against Southampton, maybe from a set piece he can deliver. Mbumo is still under 5% owned, so he is an amazing differential. If something happens to Aston Villa players and they're injured or rotation risks, Mbumo is a very great way to dive into some better fixtures. We haven't seen him face, I at least haven't seen him face yet Liverpool away from home, but even City and Spurs can concede goals from Mbumo. If Tony is out, we will know, because no, we won't know for sure, as the transfer window is closing, I believe, after the game week 3 deadline, so maybe a little bit risky to go for Mbumo now, but for sure going after game week 5 he might become an amazing option. Martinelli against Brighton, for me he can do damage, and you can keep him up until the run in game week 8. I know it's Spurs and City, but and away from home, but still he can do damage. De Bruyne, he's the most expensive player that is under 10% on for Manchester City. You can go for Doku, you can go for Savinho, but for me De Bruyne is the best player to opt for under 10%, and up front it's going to be Muniz, Wissa and Wood. They're all still under 10%. Wissa 3.8, Muniz 7.2, and Wood is 7.6. So under 10%, highly differential. Ipswich, Southampton, Wolves, it cannot get better for those teams. Yeah, maybe if Wood was facing Leicester, it would have been amazing, but still a very, very solid lineup. If you agree with me, you can join the community. You can know all the amazing stuff. If you don't agree with my lineup, don't just say that lineup is bad. Just put some players that you prefer to see in that lineup. Here is the final best team as well. I hope you enjoyed. Haaland will be my captain, and if you're going for Haaland, he should be yours, in my opinion, even if you own Villa or Arsenal players. In my opinion, Haaland is the best option to go for. I think that sums it up pretty well. Let's see how the games on Sunday are going to unravel, and we'll be discussing everything that has happened in game week 2 in my early tips video. Let's make it an appointment together. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.